Today we need to talk about JungKook addressing stalkers. I want to get into JungKook possibly feeling like he has to limit his activities due to stalkers and his recent possible flight to LA putting him in danger. And then I want to get into a BLACKPINK's appearance canceled. So hey Dumplings, this is Dave Desai. Hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, he's pulling more merch, and let's go. There's been a bit of controversy with BLACKPINK recently and what was supposed to be a big deal and something that was supposed to be a lot of fun. It was reported a little while ago that BLACKPINK and Lady Gaga were supposed to perform their song Sour Candy in front of the US President Biden. I actually have reacted to Sour Candy on Patreon. I love the song, and if you want to join me there in not only reacting to BLACKPINK but BTS and many other groups, I will link the Patreon below. We do have a $1 tier there, so hope to see you if you're interested. Now, this performance at the dinner, in my opinion, was quite random and honestly a bit of a waste of time in my opinion. Having a performance in front of the president, and it will be during a dinner and not broadcasted and likely for free, would definitely not be the best use of time when they can be doing other things and making more money or growing their career. When BTS met with Biden, they were there to give ideas and think of creative ways that Biden could help with the hate going on in the US. But BLACKPINK would just be there for a performance, which doesn't help politically necessarily, but that isn't always the goal. But anyway, it was still exciting to hear that the girls will be getting an opportunity to perform for one of the most important people in the US, and I can't imagine this would not help the Biden administration be more familiar with Asian culture and further help the Stop Asian Hate movement. I think a lot of Blinks were excited about this, and I believe the US administration was trying to reach out to Korea to get BLACKPINK fully confirmed. Something happened along those lines of communication, and the message was never relayed to the president of Korea, and I don't think the message ever got to YG or BLACKPINK's label, so they had never had the ability to confirm. It was believed that the Korean president was in the midst of resigning, and so something like a dinner appearance for a celebrity might have been last on his list of things he needed to do before he resigned. As I expect a position as big as the presidency, you would have to do a laundry list of things before you can actually go. Unfortunately, due to the miscommunication, the appearance was canceled, and it's believed that it will not happen. Now, the appearance of BLACKPINK won't happen due to them not being able to reach the girls, but Sour Candy is owned by Lady Gaga, I think, so perhaps she could do a performance still, but without BLACKPINK there. But who knows? Biden was pissed, and I don't necessarily think it was because he won't have entertainment during his dinner, but because he felt this was going to be an issue with foreign communication. If something as little as this doesn't get relayed, then anything that actually will matter probably won't make it to the foreign president's ears either. However, this request was likely delayed and ultimately canceled due to the Korean president resigning, and also being that a dinner is not top priority for another country's leader. If this was something that perhaps impacted the economy more, then I can see this being an issue if they didn't respond in time. But hopefully the girls will get another opportunity in the future to do this and perform without any issues. Regardless of whether it would be a good opportunity for their career in terms of album sales and those things, it's no doubt a good idea to have performed in front of the president within your discography. They'd be following a great tradition for great artists like Marilyn Monroe. And sometimes it's nice to have a performance that is low-key and fun and doesn't call the presses. We all know that our BTS boys love their privacy, and in moments where they are not performing or working on anything, they prefer for everything to be private. We have some crazy stories today, and so of course I need to talk about it. But before we do, I have to give some backstory on everything. Jungkook recently went to work out and go boxing. He is a great boxer, and he has been documenting his journey and learning how to box for many years now. If you go back to his oldest video, boxing, you'd see how much he has improved up until now. And so it's one of those hobbies that he worked on. Recently, a stalker posted a video footage of Jungkook boxing, putting his mouth guard in and just doing his thing. It was weird because I think people were thinking this was a fake clip, like maybe it was someone who looked like Jungkook. But soon after, Jungkook hopped on a live stream and talked about his feelings and actually addressed this moment. He talked about how jarring it is to finish working out and see some armies there. I'm not sure if it was one army or if it was like a crowd of armies there, but needless to say, he was not happy about it, and one can totally understand why. This is a moment he feels comfortable in talking and being himself, and he doesn't want the footage to be taken out of context or him being recorded in a compromising position. Also, if he believes no one is recording, he might not worry so much about looking good on camera while practicing. If you are worried about looking pretty, you're not going to look good during the thing because boxing is not pretty. JungKook said during the stream he was drunk and the liquid courage is what gave him the courage to talk about this situation. He added that many armies know about it, but only a few showed up because a lot of armies respect Jungkook's privacy. I do wonder how accurate that is. I'm sure there's plenty of people who know the location of where he is but don't go. But how many people would know and always try to go? You know what I mean? Like, how many of those people just haven't said anything and thus people can't show up? Because I don't trust people with this information. It seems like Jungkook was upset and many people felt like Jungkook was trying to get to this point where he wants the person who shows up to be in jail. And this is not likely, as long as the person who shows up at the gym did not violate any trespassing laws, which I assume they didn't if they were allowed in the building. And I'm also assuming they didn't because you can likely show up and sign up to any gym and go in and just watch. Is it creepy? Yes. Is it against the law? No. But stalking definitely is. So if Jungkook could prove this to be stalking, which would be relatively easy, this person could go to jail. I think when one stalker tries to do something like this and it becomes successful, many people start to jump in line where they want to do it too. They see that the alleged stalker is not arrested, but they see how the video went viral and maybe the alleged stalker made some money. Even if they don't like Jungkook, they may consider doing this and following him to make a buck or two. And this is where it gets very problematic. There's been a huge amount of people who either actually are stalkers or people who are pretending in order to make a buck. There's been a resurgence of rumors of where Jungkook will be. So the latest rumor is that Jungkook is taking a flight to the US. Like, where did that come from? Just because he's working with Calvin Klein and this feels like it could happen? And there's people literally selling flight information of Jungkook allegedly going to the US. This is bad because it's likely fake and he is not traveling there. So the people buying it would likely get wrong information, which I suppose a lot of people would say is okay because these people intend on stalking Jungkook, so having them waste their money is deserved. But also, there's a part of me that possibly believes that they got real information, and I'm scared of the amount of people that will show up to hurt Jungkook, either at the Seoul airport or an airport in the US. Of course, the boys will take extra precaution when they are there, but I also highly doubt every fan that walks into the airport to wait and see Jungkook leave is completely vetted and security checked. So I really hope that those initiatives will be taken going forward. People were wondering if the exact destination and departure were leaked. It would only be one jump away from a flight attendant or airport staff to look up those possible flight and cross-reference a manager's name or someone who works for Calvin Klein and check to see who might be flying, and there's only one jump away from the specific flight information getting leaked, like the actual plane and seat. I mean, this is not unheard of, as we recently discovered the RM and co-rail situation and how the staff had deeply looked into RM and even got his seat and all that. People are scared, since Jungkook had already expressed his pain with stalkers, that a person going on to his flight or stalking him in this way was going to cause him to not want to continue his solo work or abandon it altogether. I would say all of the BTS members are usually on the same page when it comes to these sorts of things, and Taeyang had even spoken about stalkers on a plane a little while ago. He opened up about his true feelings and just very briefly mentioned that he honestly would like it if they could stop, and that is very, very scary to him. When on a plane, it might not feel like a big deal to most of us, as most of us have probably never experienced first class or business class. For someone to come on a plane when you're in economy class and you can't sleep and are just reading a book, watching a movie, or typing on your computer because that's all you can do, that's not a big deal for someone to just ask you a question or bother you for a photo. And this is why when idols ask fans not to come on the plane, they get backlash for not loving their fans. However, if you're on business or first, these seats go flat and you can actually sleep. So imagine someone walking into your bedroom while you sleep to take photos of you. That's a very different experience because the idols are sleeping. You also do not know what the stalker would do. There's cases where things get violent, but that's a story for another time. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.